Hello, my friends. It is time for reading today. So remember that we are working on our stamina and we are practicing reading for 20 minutes every day. So make sure you take time today to practice reading for 20 minutes. It could be before my lesson, it could be after my lesson. You could have already read for your 20 minutes, but make sure you spend your 20 minutes reading today. You can read to your mom, you can read to your dad, you can read to your pet, you can read to yourself. You can use Raz-Kids if you don't have books or would like to see something new. You can also read with Storyline Online and watching the stories that we were watching the other day at school. So those are your options. Make sure you take time for reading today. So we have been working really hard on learning our good habits for solving hard words because we're making sure we have good reading habits so that we become better readers. So today we're going to review our good reading habits that we have for solving our hard words. I have to make sure I'm not talking with the papers in front of my mouth. But before we do that, I want you to think. We've thought about this a little bit before, about the story, The Little Engine That Could. And the little engine that could, he didn't give up. He had something that we call persistence. Say that with me because it's a really big, good word. Persistence. And persistence means that I just don't give up. I keep going. No matter how hard something gets, I keep going. So for example, I know it's not a reading example, but it's a good example. If Ms. Schultz was trying to sew something and the directions were really super hard and I didn't understand, I would have to keep going. If I made a mistake, I might have to pull some of the stitches out, but I had to keep trying because if I didn't keep trying, I wouldn't get any better. And now that I've kept trying and I do different patterns and things, I can make big blankets that I quilt together. I can make doll clothes. I've even made a fancy vest for Velociraptor's baptism out of wedding dress material that's super slippery and hard to work on. I've even made a bow tie for my nephew, and I wouldn't have gotten there without some persistence. I never gave up. So when we're reading, we want to have persistence too. We don't want to give up. We want to keep trying. And that's what we do when we get to our hard words. We don't give up. We just keep trying. So here are those habits we have been talking about. The first one I have is when I get to a hard word, I can check the picture to see if it can help me when I'm stuck. I can also look at all of the parts of the word. So we looked at our word place. We knew the pull part, we know the s part, and we tried this a couple different ways until we got to the word place. I looked at all of the parts for things that I know to help me solve that word. It's also, we used to call it sounding out, but now we're talking about looking at all of the parts of the word because sometimes chunking it into the parts I know helps me solve the word faster than sounding out every sound. I'm going to make sure that I get a running start, and this is our persistence. I don't want to give up. I want to keep going and going and going. So I want to get that running start to get me going. And I want to check it again. I want to do a double check. I'm going to think to myself, does it look right for what I think the word is? Does it make sense for what I think it is? So those are the two things that I'm going to do. I'm going to ask myself, does it look right and does it make sense? Because if it looks right, but it doesn't make sense, I might need to try it again. And if it makes sense, but it doesn't look right, I want to make sure I try it again. And that's where we have our persistence. It's okay not to know every word. You are first graders learning to read. It's okay. The most important part is that you are trying. Because every time we try and we don't give up, we get a little bit better. And if we get a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better, eventually you will become an expert. And we are going to be expert readers by the end of the school year. I promise you that. I love you all and I will see you soon.